Greetings and welcome to Newzim TV. My name is Tatenda Dembedza. Stories making the headlines. MDC supporters heckle Mudenda during Vimbai Tsvangirai-Java funeral. In the courts, Mliswa in 10 million RTGS defamation lawsuit. In business, Potras hints on tariff increase amid recurrent price hikes. In sports, Marshal Munetsi says joining French club was an easy choice. And now the news in greater detail. MDC leader Nelson Chamisa was on Thursday forced to spring from his seat and reprimand some party supporters who heckled National Assembly Speaker Jacob Mudenda when the ZANU-PF Politburo member mentioned President Emmerson Mnangagwa while conveying Parliament's condolences towards late MP Vimbai Tsvangirai-Java at a church service. Mudenda, in his opening remarks, said he had chosen to stay away from a tour of the new parliament site presided over during the same time by President Mnangagwa in order to be with mourners at the late Glenview South MP's service. The acknowledgement of Mnangagwa as state president did not go well with the hundreds of MDC supporters who were following proceedings from the terraces of Harare City Sports Center, who went on to drown his address in heckles. In his intervention, Chamisa did well to calm the situation down, but also addressed Mnangagwa as president of ZANU-PF.
Honorable sir, you have the peace of the place, the freedom of the environment to utter what you may wish, including repeating the name of President Mnangagwa, who is the president of ZANU-PF. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, funerals of the Tsvangirai family seem to have played a big part on how Nelson Chamisa and his ex-co-vice president Thokozani Kupe should relate after the two finally met and had a casual chat at late Vimbai Tsvangirai-Java's funeral. February last year, and during late MDC leader Morgan Tsvangirai's Buhera funeral, the attack on Kupe by some pro-Chamisa party activists marked what would later turn out to be bitter relations between Chamisa and Kupe. More than a year later now, and during the funeral of yet another Tsvangirai family member, the former allies turned enemies finally found the opportunity to chat, something unthinkable in the last few months. Chamisa and Kupe sat side by side during Tsvangirai-Java's burial at Glen Forest in Harare on Thursday. MDC Senator Morgan Femai has called on government to consider distributing condoms among inmates within the country's jails, adding the prisoners were human beings who also had sexual feelings. Femai, who chairs Parliament's Thematic Committee on HIV and AIDS, was speaking during a Thursday tour of Chikurubi Maximum Prison by 4 parliamentary committees on health. The MDC official said prison situation was overcrowded and this created fatal conditions for prisoners sleeping too close to each other to indulge in acts of homosexuality.
Prisoners anofana kupuwa condoms, but at the same time mararira acha vanoita haana kunaka because vanorara vari crowded. Tanzwa kuti panokwana 500 pari kupinda 2000. Zvinoratidza kuti already pa 2000 kana vakasikizana. Vanhu ivavo vane mafeelings nokuti vanhu vane mafeelings, no matter unopenga mupengo une mafeelings. Unopezira wabata mumwe uri next door pamberi pake wobata futi uyo achibata uyo achibata vanobatana vega vega. Saka zvinoda kuti vapuhwe macondoms vachidzidziswa kuti macondomu ava kana vakurara vanofana kugara, ukanzwa zvakubata pfeka condom.
In the courts, the fight between Themba Mliswa and BDO boss Ngoni Kudenga has spilled to the courts, with the latter claiming 10 million RTGS defamation damages from the Norton legislator. BDO Zimbabwe managing partner and a chartered accountant, Kudenga was accused of being conflicted to carry out National Social Security Authority forensic audit by Mliswa last year. Mudenda has issued summons against Mliswa at the High Court demanding 10 million RTGS, saying the MP caused the publication of defamatory statements against him in the Daily News. The paper, its editor Hamasabure and owner Associated Newspapers of Zimbabwe Private Limited were also cited as respondents. Their fight made headlines last year when Mliswa wrote to Auditor General Mildred Chiri claiming that BDO Zimbabwe was conflicted to carry out a forensic audit of the National Social Security Authority because Mudenda has a personal relationship with fired NASA board chairperson Robin Vela. In business, the Postal and Telecommunication Regulatory Authority has hinted at plans to increase call and data tariffs in the wake of the current economic hardships that have seen prices of goods and services shoot through the roof. In an interview with News in Business recently, Potra's Director General Gift Machengete revealed that local mobile telephone companies were piling pressure on the regulator to consider a tariff hike. Machengete said possible tariff increases will also be spurred by unstable foreign currency interbank exchange rates. We will be taking a short break. Join us straight after this.
Many people have been asking me how did I manage it, because they could see that everything was there, everything was just happening, things were being paid. So I've told people that it was through Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. So I would advise everyone to join this Diaspora Funeral Cash Plan. Their policy is good because it took all the weight off my shoulders.
French club Reims was an easy choice and adds he is excited about the challenge of playing in Europe. The 22-year-old inked a 4-year deal with the League One side from South African giants Orlando Pirates after 3 years with the Buccaneers. The midfielder told his new club's official website that he was impressed by the ambitions and facilities at Reims. Monet is currently in camp with the Warriors ahead of AFCON 2019 in Egypt this month and is expected to play a big part in Zimbabwe's bid to conquer Africa. To end this news bulletin, here's a recap of main stories once more. MDC supporters heckle Mudenda during Vimbai Tsvangirai-Java funeral. In the courts, Mliswa in 10 million RTGS defamation lawsuit. In business, Potra's hints on tariff increase amid recurrent price hikes. And in sports, Marshall Mnetsi says joining French club was an easy choice. Reporting for News MTV, my name is Tatenda Dembedza. For these and more stories, visit our website www.newzimbabwe.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel News MTV.